Hey Matthias, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
You hear me?
I
Yes.
I I think you joined a bit early, right?
Huh?
I think you joined a bit early.
Yeah, I've joined already.
No problem. Let's wait for another 4 minutes.
Yes,
Hope you are
absolutely.
okay. Hi Matthias,
Hey.
thank you all who has joined online.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Well,
Matthias, can you hear me?
yes, I
Thank
can hear you
you.
now.
Sure.
Do you hear me well?
Yeah, I can. We
Yeah,
can
because
hear
it's a
you.
little bit spotty your voice. But
I'll
if you
just
can
have
hear
a
me,
quick
that's good.
introduction.
Hmm?
Okay, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, good. And you can see the presentation.
Okay, okay. So I'll just
Can you
have
see
a
me
quick
my screen?
introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want me
Matthias,
to
give
remove
me
my screen?
yeah, not required. That's fine. I'll just give a quick introduction, and then
Yeah,
probably I'll
fine.
hand over to you. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Do you want
Okay.
me to remove my presentation?
That is fine. Let it be there.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So very good evening, good afternoon to everyone who has joined for the meetup number 6 of OpenInfra User Group India. So I'll just quickly start the session. Will not waste much time. Just a quick introduction of what is there in today's agenda, and then I'll just hand over to Matthias to start the session. So Matthias has joined us from Sweden, from Stockholm. So he is a cybersecurity expert. So I'm very thankful for him for expressing his interest to speak in one of our sessions. So very thank you very much, Matthias. So what is it?
You're welcome.
And followed, yeah, and followed by we'll have one more session on OpenStack Nova by Krishnaraj, and then that. The third session will be on the plans for OpenInfra days, which is to be co-located into 2026 with KubeCon India in Mumbai. So that's all we have as an agenda for today. So I'll not waste any more time. Handing over to Matthias. Matthias, please continue with your session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Matthias Jakobsson, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant in Sweden, which is located in the north of Europe. And I'm here today to talk to you about a project of mine. So let's get started. The talk is named Making the Internet Your Playground. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought to yourself to build a private, air-gapped, internet-like environment? An internet-like environment where you can play, where you can test, where you can experiment. An internet-like environment where you can train and where you can teach, so that we can all be better at handling the difficult situations where something goes sideways. An internet-like environment where nobody gets angry at you if you do something wrong. An internet-like environment where the consequences of your actions does not need to be catastrophical. Well, I've thought about this. I've thought about this a lot, specifically to make an internet-like environment that works well for cyber defense exercises. So you can train and teach and be better. But how do you make an internet-like environment like this? You need to start by asking you the question, what is the internet? That's kind of a big question, but we'll tackle it one by one. So the one thing you can do is you can look at RFCs, the standards that define how the internet works, how different computers talk to each other, how they interchange information.
Matthias, can you unmute yourself? I think got muted.
Okay, now
Yeah,
where
fine.
did you lose me?
Just the last bit. Missed the last bit.
Okay, so I will do the RFC bit one more time.
Yeah.
Yes, good. So don't you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
I heard a comment that the voice wasn't clear.
Yeah, we are hearing you. Please continue.
Okay, good. So, in order to know what the internet is, you can look at the standards, the RCs, that define how the internet works, how different computers talk to each other, how everything like works, the basics. But the standards define how it should work. They don't define how the internet looks like. They don't virtualize it. So another way to look and answer the question, what is the internet? Well, you can look at the map. Here is a map of part of the internet. It's the submarine cables that connects the internet, the people in all of the world. So I can be in Sweden and have this presentation, and you being in India listening to this. So now that you have some kind of view of what the internet is, let's continue. So from this map, we can see that there are a lot of cables. The internet is built out of cables. And what's more, it's built up of routers. A lot of routers to interconnect the cables. Maybe not these types of routers, usually bigger ones with more capacity, but you get the point. And what is more, the internet is built up with servers. A lot of servers serving content. And finally, users, the users who are using the internet. so that you... Does it work or does it not work?
Yeah, Matthias,
Because I'm getting a lot of comments that it doesn't work. Should I continue or should I wait?
yeah, Matthias, please continue. I can see your screen. I can hear you.
I'm continuing. You will
No
let me
issues.
know if I should pause, okay?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Sorry. So all of this, so you can use the internet to look at cat videos, to talk to your loved ones, and to make payments, for example. So now that you know what the internet is to some degree, big question is, how do we replicate this? How do we make our own private air-gapped copy of the internet that we can use to train, to exercise, to educate, and to do stuff so we get better? Well, the easy answer to that question is that we pay somebody else to do it. There's something called cyber ranges. Cyber ranges are built to make an internet-like environment that is not connected to internet, so we can test stuff without breaking the real internet. The problem, though, is that cyber ranges are not always accessible. They might cost a lot of money or other things. So if we can't use a cyber range, what can we do? Well, of course, we can build our own cyber ranges. The problem with building our own cyber ranges is that also costs money. We need someone to set it up, to maintain, and somewhere to host it. If we can't do that, what can we do instead? Well, we can use some kind of community project. There's something called DN42, which is not focused on cybersecurity exercises, but more on getting to know how the internet works, how routing works, how BGP works. And if we want to do that, well, we can use DN42. But we need to keep in mind that we're not alone in this. It's a community project. Other people can get angry if we do something wrong. So is there another option? Well, we can go smaller. Cyber ranges, of course, are also smaller than the real internet because it will be kind of impossible to create a copy of the internet locally that is just as big as the real internet. But we can't go too small. If we go too small, the simulation of what you're doing will be bad. Users will notice that it's a fake environment. So we need to be sufficiently large to make it realistic, but small enough so it doesn't cost too much. And that's a little bit difficult. So if we want to implement it like you do in reality, what can we do instead? There is another option. We can do simulations. We can simulate what we are doing. So instead of putting a router inside a virtual machine with an operating system and everything that comes with that, we can simulate it. We can take the part on top, which communicates over the internet, which the users can see when they interact with us over the internet, and implement just that. So we can use fewer resources, but anyway, implement an internet-like environment. And well, think about this. As a cyber literate person, well, I got to work. I got to work and building just this. Building the internet in one process. An internet in one process that contains everything from routers, which are interconnected with cables. And then we have IP addresses, networks. We have BGP, so the routers can interchange routing information so they know where to route the information. Then we have root DNS, so that the domain name system works, and other services like Whois and NTP, so that you feel right at home. And last but not least, configuration. Configuration, so it's easy to configure this environment. So it's easy to maintain your configuration and to change it whenever you want. But let me repeat, internet in one process on one computer to simulate the core of the internet. One process, one computer, simulate the core and essence of what you think that the internet is. And this thing about being in one process, well, it has some interesting peculiarities to it because you're a little bit more resource constrained than you are on the real internet. So, but that's not really that big of a problem if you do it well. You can make clever choices so that you use the resources well. But what you can't do is you can't go cheap and cheat your way through it. Because if you do that, users will notice that the environment is fake. So to reiterate, you can do this if you do it well. But I want to talk much more about this theoretical part. I think you will be more interested in knowing what I'm about to tell you right now. So let me introduce to you CDXE, the Cyber Defense Exercise Environment. It's a project that I'm working on that is specifically designed for small-scale cyber defense exercises to let you create a little realistic-looking internet part for your exercises and for education. That we can all be better and get better by training and educating people in an environment that is not the real internet, but is internet-like. Like I said, I'm working on this project, and my goal is to release this as an open source project in the beginning of next year. So until you can access this on the internet, well, I will show a little bit about it so you get an idea of what it is. And we'll start to talk about configuration. Like I said before, configuration is important. If you can't configure it well, and it's not easy, well, it's not really worth it. So I put a lot of effort into making it easy to configure. And if you have before configured routers, switches, and stuff like that, well, I think you will feel right at home. The only thing you need to think about is that you're not just configuring one router, you're configuring the whole internet. As such, we will start a little bit up the stack. We'll start by defining one organization. So here we're defining the organization cryptogram and giving it a little bit more readable name, human readable name, Cryptogram AB. And then we'll continue. We'll create an autonomous system, which is a big part of how the internet works in routing information exchanges when we talk about BGP. And to this AS, short for autonomous system, we define some IP networks that they will use. And an AS is not much use if you don't have a router. So let's define a router that will use this AS to talk to the internet. And that we do that by doing just this, we write router, give the name. And then we assign this AS to this router. And just before, you saw a map in the background. And to make a map like that, well, you need to define the geolocation of the routers. Easy as this. And then you specify the IP addresses of the router, and then you're all set. The environment works. But the environment is not much use if you can't access it. So to access it, you access it over WireGuard, the VPN tunnel WireGuard. And to do that, you define an endpoint. The endpoint, you give it IP networks, and you specify the public key of the WireGuard client that you want to connect. Easy as that. And of course, there are a few other options in here. I won't go to all of them and not that much in detail, but I will just tell you that you can define domain names also, for example. So I'll continue now with if everything I've shown you here in the configuration, if we make it a little bit smaller, so we can see how it is like now. This thing that is marked right now is what we just went through. So we can get a better overview of what we are doing. And this is not much use if we can't define more than one organization. So of course, we can define more than one organization. And that's what we are going to do right now. So we'll define another organization, ACME, in the same way that we defined cryptogram just now, but with other numbers. And now to the point I want to make. We have here two routers, one in cryptogram and one in ACME. And of course, it might be natural that we want to connect these two. We want to pull a cable between these two routers and connect them. We want these two routers to talk over BGP so they can exchange routing information, so they can talk to each other, so they can work. And that is just as easy as writing the last line down below. You pair the two routers from the two organizations by specifying the organization name and the router name for both of them. And that's it. Easy peasy. And that's the idea. But enough talk about configuration. Let me show you a demo of how you can do this. So let me switch over to the demo. So here is a terminal. So I want to run this program. And it's as easy as writing cdxc, the name of the program, and giving it configuration files. Here I've prepared a few configurations files that are a little bit bigger than what I just shown you, but it's the same thing. And then you hit enter, the program starts, it parses these configurations, it starts the routing daemons, and it also starts a local SSH server. So you can SSH to cdxc and change the configuration live. So we'll continue here. And we'll see if we switch. There we go. So here you have two terminal windows and a map. The map on the right is the environment that I have created with the configuration files. This is the Scandinavia. This is Sweden in the middle, and Finland, Norway, Denmark in this example. And the red points on the map are routers that I have defined. And the cables, or the lines between, are the cables with the BGP sessions so they exchange routing information. And now I want to show you a demo of this. So I am located here in the south of Sweden, in Malmö. Let's see if we can get my mouse there. Yes, about there. And I want to make a trace route to very north of Sweden, up here in the north, and show you how that works. And right now, I'm the only one in this network. So I configured this map to switch from lines from gray to red if a packet transfers through that cable during the last second. So on the terminal on the left top, I'm located in the south of Sweden that I just shown you. And let's make a trace route to Kiruna in the north. And as you can see in a second, we get the red line from the south to the north, indicating where the packets go. Before, I told you that you can reconfigure this environment live. So let's show a little bit about that. So in the terminal window at the bottom, we'll do just that. So we can do SSH and do cdxc config. We get to cdxc. And here we can configure the environment live. So in the trace route, you can see here between 8 and 9, you have between Sälen and Östersund, there's a cable, which is the cable a long cable in the middle. If you see on a second my mouse here, there indicating. So the idea is that we want to cut this cable and see what happens. So let's do that. So I'll write in the terminal no pairing eller pair Östersund och Sälen. Let's see. There we go. And when I click enter now, we'll see what happens in the map when we remove the cable and also the trace route. So I'm pulling enter now, and we'll see what happens. As you can see, the map is changing. The traffic is going through other cables. And as you see in trace route, on the way north to Kiruna, we are going through Denmark and we're going through Norway. In the map, you see that on the way south, we're going through Finland. This is due to router priority and it's total normal. So this shows how the traffic and the internet is resilient if you have multiple redundant cables. But let's put this back, appearing in the cable between Östersund and Sälen. And we'll see that the environment is self-healing. We get back to where we were before in just a second when this has gone through. There we go. So we can do a lot more when we do this live configuration. So you guys are in India, so I thought about why not add an organization for India. Let's add India as an organization. That's just as easy as writing organization India. And let's create an AS and add IP addresses. Easy as this. Now we have an AS. We are an organization in India with an autonomous system that we have called 8. And then to use this AS, we will create a router. We'll call the router R, for example. And we want to use the just defined AS, and that's it. If we zoom out on this map here a little bit, no, I forgot to add the geo coordinates. So let's see. Let's add another route. There we go. Add geo coordinates, and then we will add the ASM one more time. And if everything goes well, as you can see here on the map, the router showed up in north of India. And then instead of doing a trace route to Kiruna, let's do a trace route to India, like this. And as you can see, it doesn't really work because we don't have any cables to India yet. But that's easy. Let's add a cable between, for example, Stockholm and India. And as you can see, there's a cable, and the traffic goes through this cable, and we reach India. And if we zoom in here a little bit, we'll see that it goes through from south of Sweden up to Stockholm first, and then it goes over to India. Just as easy as that. So that was the demo that I had in mind. And I just want to thank OpenInfra user group in India for letting me come here and talk, and you guys for listening.
Thank
and
you,
if you have any
Matthias.
questions, please do not make them now. And if you want to read more about my project, you can find it on cryptogram.se/cdxc. My name is Matthias. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthias. It was a very interesting session, especially people who have interest in cybersecurity. For them, such a cyber range should give them a lot of opportunity to test and break things without
Yes, that's the idea.
disturbing the real environment. So that's a quite interesting project. So this URL which you have given, it's already open source. How is it? You have open source it?
No,
Not yet.
it's not public yet. The
Not yet.
information, well, there is information on the page that you see here on the screen, and
Okay.
the idea is that I will release it in the beginning of next year. I'm
Okay.
working on this right now, so part of it
Okay.
is ready, and other parts are not just ready yet.
Okay. And
So
definitely for
I want the core
stu
to be finished before releasing it.
great, great, great. So very, very interesting
Thank you very
to
much.
see the cabling and how the trace route works. So because most of
Yes.
us use trace route, but how the physical layer of the trace route is, we have not seen it yet, right? So
Yeah,
this
no,
kind
it's
of
an
simulation,
interesting way to visualize it.
right, right. That's very much interesting. So let's open for any questions for Matthias from anybody.
No, sir, it was so like detailed explanation, so we don't have any questions.
Okay,
Great,
thank you very much.
that's great. So definitely student communities also should get help from such a project. So I think
Yeah.
we'll wait for 2026. But now we
Yes.
can go to this website and download and use it.
You
How
can't
is it?
download anything, but you can read more about the project.
Great,
You
great,
can read
great.
and see a little bit more details of what the idea is, what the status is, and such. And when I release it, I will write more information there.
Okay, okay, great. Anybody else? Last one question from Matthias. Else, we'll move on. Look, okay, somebody is asking which programming language you use.
I'm using Golang. So everything is written in Go. So it's one static binary that Go creates. That is all you need to run this.
Okay. And I did see you are using OpenStreet APIs, right, for the map
Yes.
visualizations, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is using a map from Stammen or something on the side.
Hmm.
So it says Stammen design is a little bit more gamish like without detail, a lot of details. I think
Okay.
it matches a good with this type of.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Mutesh. It was a very interesting session. I hope
Thank you very much.
you will have more such interesting sessions for us in coming days. Thank you very much for taking your time and for us.
No,
Please
thank you.
continue to be here, and we have a couple
Yeah.
of more sessions. Please feel,
Yes.
but feel free to opt out anytime because our time zones are different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thank you. So it was a great session from Matthias. He has taken his time for us at one. He had immediately expressed his interest to help us with the session. So we'll move on. We'll have a next session from Krishna Raj, who will be talking on OpenStack internals a bit. So over to you, Krishna Raj.
So, hello everyone. My name is Krishnaraj. I'm a cloud engineer in a company called Stack, and I've been working on OpenStack Cloud for the last one and a half years. And I wanna share something about my journey about Nova service. It is a compute service in OpenStack. We'll start with the introduction of OpenStack and Nova. So, What is OpenStack? Here, OpenStack is an open source cloud computing platform which helps us to build our own cloud in our own infrastructure. And Nova is the core component in OpenStack, which gives the power of compute to the OpenStack cloud, which helps us to manage and provision the virtual machines in a high scale level. And we can say the Nova is a backbone of the OpenStack, as it manages its life cycle from the time of creation to the termination. And Nova is considered as a crucial component for the OpenStack cloud platform. And next, we will move on to the architecture. When you speak about the architecture, Nova, it comes with several services under it, which will be distributed across nodes. I'll show you in diagram here. Here you can see the services which are in squares are the Nova service. This is a commit service, and which are in the hexagon or the another range of OpenStack service which helps Nova to create an instance in the search virtual message. The even it starts with the API request from the user. API request is nothing but the HTTP request, RESTful APIs. This will be sent by the user to create one instance. It will be processed and distributed to the every Nova services. Here we have Nova conductor, which act as a proxy between the Nova node services and the central DB. And here we have a Nova compute. The Nova compute is a compute service which will be running on every compute node. If you ask what is compute node is the one which creates a instance in that node physical hardware using the hypervisor here. And here we have a scheduler. When the user comes with a particular requirement, it first need to choose one commit node which is optimal for the some requirement. Let's say user comes with a requirement of 12 core vCPUs and 8 GB RAM. First, it will fit out the nodes which has the capability to run this load in the node, and it allocates the instance to run in the node. And then we have another OpenStack services called Glance. Glance is image provider. Like when you say image is you say OS, like Windows, Linux, like that. And we have Cinder, which provides storage for the instance to be for the OS to be running. And we have Neutron, which gives the network capability for the instance for the outside world communication, and the keystone for authentication to the authorization for the instance to be accessed. We'll move on to the next tab, which talks about the core components of Nova. We'll start with Nova API. Nova API is nothing but the intermediate API server between the user and the Nova core services. Then from the user it comes as the HTTP request, and from the API the redirect to the inner services with the RPC messages, which will be communicated within the internal services. And we have Nova conductor, which acts as a mediator between the central database and the Nova services to keep track of every actions to be happening. And here we have Nova compute, which is a main component in Nova. It will be available in every compute nodes facing the hypervisor for the resource creation. And here we have Nova scheduler, which allocates the instance to the optimal host for the particular requirement of the instance. So then we move on to life cycle. When we talk about life cycle of Nova, it includes start from the start to the stage to the termination of instance. Now the Nova life cycle consists of creation, management of instances, and till the termination of instances. And this life cycle management are been taken care by the Nova commit service, and which interacts with the other set of OpenStack service to make this life cycle happen, like glance in the keystone, as we seen in the architecture. You can see for creating one instance needs to be committed with another set of OpenStack services to deploy one instance. And if you ask how the scheduler decides which instance needs to be running which nodes, it uses methods, filter and variant method. That's first it takes inventory, a service, that is service called placement, which is running in a controller node, which have a resource usage in inventory of every nodes. A node schedule comes with the requirement. It takes the inventory and filter out the node which matches the requirement and finds the optimal node which is suitable for the deploying the virtual machine. So this is making the resource usage efficient, and as we say, we can without the scheduling we can say there will be no a proper allocation. We can just allocate node without any validation. That should be validation. If user comes with the request, needs to be validated which node can handle which instance natural validator. So this part is very important in Nova for deploying a instance. And when we talk about the hypervisors, Nova supports multiple hypervisors like you are known KVM, then VMware are some of the known example for now, and which is also comes with a multi-hyper support. Suppose we have three commit nodes and one with KVM hypervisor and another with VMware hypervisor. That also can be supported in Nova, which makes it more flexible and diverse among different environments. So by this understanding, we can say the Nova is the most crucial services in OpenStack, which make OpenStack India OpenStack Cloud, and which provides scalable on-demand compute resources on demand. And we can ensure that the Nova architecture enables the flexible VM management, and other Nova services makes sure the user gets the efficient usage of resources of the Nova compute service. So that's all, everyone. If you have any question, can go on now.
Any questions for Krishnaraj? If you are already working in OpenStack, I think you would be most of you would have already known what Nova service is and what is the life cycle of a virtual machine it is getting created. Any specific question, please feel free to ask. Okay, I think no questions for Krishnaraj at the moment, but you can we'll share the Krishnaraj's coordinates if you have any questions offline. Yes, please, you can reach out to him. Thank you, Krishnaraj, for your session on
Thank
Nova.
you.
Thank you. So let's quickly move on to the third session, which is quite not technical, but then let me share my screen. Uh, Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay. Okay. This is a non-technical session. Actually, it is regarding the planning and execution of our future roadmap, which we have for 2026. So at least we should be planning 6, 7 months earlier. So because that is the kind of event which we are going to talk about. So OpenInfra user group is slowly uh, having a good traction after a small pause. But we need to have more and more events, and definitely OpenInfra Foundation is looking at India to have more interesting events, given that we have a large group of contributors in open source community. So they are looking forward to have a very interesting events in India. Having said that, the plan for next year is conducting an Open Infra Days in India, which will be co-located with KubeCon India. So the decision was made because of the huge success which KubeCon had in 2025 in August this year. So it was quite an interesting event, and it had a very good spotlight. And with the success of that KubeCon event, which is why Open Infra Foundation thought of having co-located even with them for next year. So it is a tedious task. So we thought we'll lay out a plan and a kind of checklist of things what we have to do and a kind of tentative timelines how we can achieve uh, this target. So this is a discussion about how we want to plan and execute uh, this event. So event objective is obviously these are the normal objectives where open infra and cloud native communities will come together because it will be a co-located event in Mumbai in June. When we say co-located, we'll not have an open infra summit along with that. It will be a 1 day event, one full day event, which will be open infra day. So we are taking baby steps. So we don't want to jump into a 3 day event all of a sudden. Slowly, we'll go step by step. So probably next to next year we'll have a summit if everything goes well. So that's the idea. So and KubeCon, as I said, is a very good event to be co-located with. It will have a great spotlight as it has been a very successful event across the globe. So what we can showcase as in Open Infra Days, people is like our own projects under Open Infra Foundation, which would be around OpenStack, Starling X, Kata Containers, and Zool projects. So there are we know lot many contributors across these projects from India. So that is one interesting point Open Infra Foundation is looking for. We have so many contributors from India, uh, uh, but yet we don't have a significant footprint when it comes to large events. Definitely, there were events conducted in early days of the user group. Uh, no dispute in that. But lately it is slowed down, so we don't want that to be slowed down. And obviously, strengthening the collaboration among the developers community in India and the enterprises, because such events, enterprises will be part of such events for sure. So there will be a lot of collaboration between these two communities. And definitely highlighting the open source infrastructure leadership or community from India. That is very, very important for the future events. So the very first step for any such event is volunteer groups. So we need more and more volunteers. Without volunteers, we cannot have such events conducted. And logically, we have divided these volunteer groups into these categories. The core group, which will have the total governance, coordination with the Open Infra Foundation, and will take care of things end to end. So we'll be looking at everything end to end. So that will be a formation of a core group, and core group will. We would like to have slightly experienced people who can handle little bit of pressure and make things done. So, little senior experienced people would form a very good core group. Uh, and then we can have a digital group who people who are very good at the websites and graphics and social media. They can definitely volunteer to be in a digital group, because digital footprint is very, very important. Unless we have a digital footprint, we may not be able to reach out to people uh, for such a event. The third would be again sponsors group. Again, this will also be with few experienced people who can have reach out for sponsorships and partner management for this kind of event. So because this sponsorships is generally from enterprises, companies, the experienced people would be more appropriate who can talk about sponsorship and reach out to, because they might have already a network of people whom they can reach out easily. So that would be a sponsors group, and the fourth one would be the outreach group. Outreach group again will be can be a mix of freshers or experienced people who uh, do the outreach activity, more speaking to the speakers and making confirmations and making things, making the communication flow without any flaw throughout the event. Throughout the event, when we say throughout the event, it starts from call for papers and then engaging with the people who have submitted and all. And there will be one more group that will be for people who would be selecting the papers for the final event. So that would be a different set of experts who will have. They'll not be having a, a permanent thing to do. They'll be involved only in the paper selection. The logistics is something we may not need a separate group because most of the logistics and event related things will be supported by the Open Infra Foundation, as this is a Open Infra Days event. Uh, Excuse me. Unlike a meetup, which has to be handled by the user group end to end. Open Infra Days and Open Infra Summit would be taken taken care by the Open Infra Foundation when it comes to the complete logistics and even because the foundation has the empaneled vendors to handle the logistics and event part. So that is something not required. So the first four group is where we are looking for volunteers. Soon we'll be sharing a Google form for people to submit their interest in volunteering. Definitely, when it say volunteer, most of you would have a daily job. That is something common. But again, out of that, we should be able to spend a little time and a commitment while expressing interest to join as a volunteer. This is very, very key to us. If this uh, group formation is not very successful, then probably the event also we cannot expect to be that great. So this is a very, very crucial activity uh, which is to be done in the initial stages of this project. So, kind of timelines, this tentative timelines where these groups have to be formed and what needs to be done when. Uh, by December, I think we have to form this for group, uh, not only the for core group, all the groups, and start working on it. Venue vendor coordination is not required for sure. That is handled by the Open Infra Foundation. Now coming to the third one, yes, website and registration of portal. This is something which we would expect from the digital group to start working on. So we have already blocked the domain name openinfra-india.org, where we have to build a website. We have examples from OpenInfra Asia page and the Korean page and the Indonesian page and the Vietnam pages and many more. We have so many other uh, local user group pages also, which we can refer and take as an example. So that is the first thing we have to launch. It's probably it should not be February. It should be Jan. By January, it should be up. Uh, and then we'll finalize on the sponsorship dockets and call for paper launch in March. And by April, the agenda and the speaker finalization should happen. So if it happens in April, the speakers will have a very good time for applying for visa or and travel. So that should be a very good uh, to announce it 4 months before. And then by May, the marketing and community outreach. So few things are overlapping here, but then the timelines is just indicating the target timeline. And then by June 18th to 19th is the KubeCon event in Mumbai. So location wise, it's not an issue. All these groups can remotely help. So there is no compulsion that this event is happening in Mumbai, so you should be in Mumbai. But if you are in Mumbai, well and good, no issues. But only on during the event day, anyways, that is going to help. Otherwise, anywhere from India, you can always volunteer and help us in making this event a success. So again, in 2026, the Open Infra Asia Summit is happening in Shanghai, China, which is already scheduled, and the exhibits are already out in social media. So we are looking at similar timelines. It is a smaller event. It is a single day event, unlike the China Shanghai event, which is a 3-day event. Yeah, this is a slide which is talking about elaborating what each group of volunteers are having as a deliverables, or how and what they are engaging. So this is about dependency and support. Has nothing to do with volunteers. Open Infra Foundation takes care of all these things, no issues. When we work remotely, definitely tools for collaboration is very, very important. So we have to finalize how and where we should be communicating, which will be effective, because we have so many communication channels these days. So people are divided. If some people still use Slack, some are in Discord, some people are comfortable using WhatsApp. So people are divided. So we have to identify a common communication channel which would help us in achieving this faster, without any blocker and delays because of communication issue. And may start weekly Zoom or Teams call for having a sync up on these groups, and the status of their deliverables, whatever. So this is also something important. And risk management, that's the core team to handle, because there are some unexpected things which may happen. So we should have contingencies and mitigations planned, with plan Bs for unforeseen events. So that also should we should be ready for. So event plan, that's the announcement which we are doing right now. And then the first thing is getting the groups of volunteers on board, and then kicking off the project. So that's all we have the plan. So this is a very good event. As I said, KubeCon is having a lot of eyeballs these days. It's very important event across the globe when it comes to cloud native community, and being part of it as a co-located event is a great chance to be. So I would request everyone to come forward, because this is an open source community event. So there is no compulsion. We can't compel anybody. It's all volunteer based activity. So besides our daily job, yes, we have to find some time to give back to the community, because most of us are uh, consuming from the open source world. So we have to find a way to give it back. It could be in any fashion within our capacity. That's the request I think uh, I should be making in this call. So that's all I had. So in coming days, these are the things which we will be executing one by one. So please help us for volunteering and making this event a success. So yeah, that's all I had. Anybody has any questions regarding this? So yeah, anybody has a question regarding this? It could be anything on the event or the timelines, how to volunteer, or anything. It could be anything. How many of you are ready to volunteer? By any chance? Maybe you can raise your hand. Wait, we can see your hands raising. Yeah, that's something great to see. So that's all we had for this meetup. I request to present in this meetup. Though he's in a different time zone, he has helped us with a very great, interesting session. I'm sure cybersecurity enthusiasts would have got a lot of interest in what demo Matthias has shown. In fact, even
Thank
I
you very
was
much. I'm
very
still here if
intrigued
you have anything
to
or
definitely, Matthias. We have your coordinates. Anyways, this session is being recorded, so that shouldn't be a problem. So anybody, please, you have any questions for Matthias about the cyber range and the product which he demoed, you please reach out to him. I'm sure he'll be happy to help you with that, your queries.
definitely if you have them right now, I'm here too.
Yeah. And thanks to Krishnaraj as well for a session on OpenStack Nova project. Uh, yeah, that's all we had for today's meetup. Anything else as a closing comments? Anybody wants to comment on, give suggestions for or ideas for next meetup? We tried to have it as in a hybrid way this time, but again, it got converted into a virtual meetup. Please feel free to ask any question before we wind up for today. No questions? Okay, please. Okay, somebody is asking a question. I would like to know more about the volunteer program. Okay, can you reach out later? Sure, sure. We will reach out to you. We can have offline discussions. If you have any questions, we can take it offline. We'll help you understand on the volunteer which we discussed. We have some other question. Somebody else raised your hand. Please, you can put your questions on the chat box as well. I can see hands raised. Please, if you have questions, please go ahead. Okay, thank you. Then there is no questions. We'll wind up for today. We'll have the next meetup in December, and most probably it will be again the second Wednesday of the month. So we would try to come back with similar interesting sessions for next meetup. Until then, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Yep.
Matthias and Krishnaj. It was a great session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.